Hi, everybody. So there it is. There we go. Mercury goes retro again. No way. Yes, 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 it's happening. So you probably noticed already that things can go a little bit astray these days with communication, with information processing. And yeah, let's be aligned with Mercury retrograde. What does that mean? What does it mean this time? Yeah, first of all, Mercury will be, actually already is, in Aries and will go retrograde from about 17 degrees Aries back to about 4, 5 degrees Aries. So that zone in the zodiac related to your chart is really hot for Mercury retro relevant stuff. What does that mean? Be extra mindful. So, being rather than rushing into things, making assumptions, and yeah, being way ahead of ourselves, which is what Mercury can do, but especially Aries can do because Aries is fast. Aries is all about action. I am, I act. Aries is ruled by Mars. So, we might react actually quite a bit and be think act before we think in terms of what comes at us, and that can be opportunities, or that can look like here's an emergency, here's something I need to act, and your mind is 10 miles an hour, and even though you might actually all of this might be based on an incorrect assumption. So all sorts of stuff can come up that actually calls us to take a break from the mind-oriented life. And interestingly, that it coincides, this Mercury retrograde coincides with spring break. And sometimes I say to clients and in discussion with friends, wouldn't that be great if we all took a retreat 3 times a year for 3 weeks when Mercury is retrograde? Yeah, it would be great. Hey, if there was a holiday, but then everybody would rush around and plan and do crazy things, and that's actually not what Mercury retro wants us to. But to put the mind on the back burner, on the back seat, and allow spirit and the heart and consciousness to take the lead again. That's basically the effect of every Mercury retrograde. When Mercury is the furthest ahead of the Sun, it turns retrograde. It's, as I say, sometimes lassoed in like a wild horse. It's funny that I chose to wear this horse type shirt here today. Just thinking, just realizing right now. Anyhow, yeah, this Aries ram mind is actually really not just fast, but also can be aggressive. Aries is an assertive energy. It's life asserting itself, coming to life. I saw today when I came back from a walk this yellow car with some advertising and design on it, and the message was come to life. So that is very much Aries. And I'd like to encourage you to also keep an eye on signs and symbols, synchronicities, messages, because that can be totally fun to follow that trail. And nothing is really random. It shows up when you are ready and when we are attuned, just like to a radio station. So, Mercury retro can be fun if we don't get wrapped up in our mind too much. And also, I'd like to encourage you with Mercury retro in Aries to, for one thing, be proactive, get in touch with people, take initiative, and especially people from the past, friends, family, especially sometimes your Aries in your chart would point you to the type of people and situations where Mercury would love to play with you. And so also be proactive and check out where things began. Back to the beginning is the motto I gave the Mercury Retro blog that I posted on my Facebook page. It's of course on the blog page, and it's also on my personal Facebook timeline. So you can take a look at that. So a lot of write-up for Mercury Retro in Aries. I had fun with that. And one image that came up was soccer players, because soccer is very Aries, sitting on a bench, because basically the mind is now sitting on a bench watching the play, watching the show, rather than getting so involved and so ahead of everything. And now you have to live according to your mind's perception of things. And yeah, sometimes we regret what we said under Mercury retrograde. The Mercury retrograde phase is this time from March 22nd to April 15th, but actually today, March 15th is when the so-called storm started or starts some point today. Storm, what is storm? That sounds a bit daunting. It's actually the stationary phase. It means like Mercury is very slow before it does this U-turn when it goes retrograde on the 22nd of March. So this is Mercury slowing down in Aries, which is a bit of a paradox, hey? And that is basically that whole theme, slow down, that super fast and maybe reacting and maybe too aggressive or reactionary, as I already said, mind. And yeah, take it easy and be mindful and be fresh. Tune into what shows up in the moment, which is a beautiful Aries energy, rather than having mental concepts. Being really present and alive in the moment. I met two really cute dogs here today, which made me almost want to, do a series of dog photos, random photos of dogs. But that would be another concept. So I love synchronicities and the beauty of that. And yes, being present with what shows up, just like all the fresh spring flowers now, and life comes to life in spring. Then Mercury goes retro on the 22nd until the 15th, and that will be the second day actually of spring until the new moon in Aries, which comes with Uranus. Uranus is also the higher octave of Mercury. It's higher mind being called, or it's basically liberation from mental acrobatics and mind emotions that can drag us down. Uranus liberates us, and it's enlightener and awakener. And especially now, these years since Uranus has been in Aries since March 11th, 2011, there is a lot of awakening going on planet Earth, a lot of wake-up calls too. So it's all the same archetype. And let's align, like what I also always suggest, let's align well with those energies rather than having them come at us, so that we get an experience that might not be of the highest vibration, but the learning happens anyway. So this is a very alert, alive, and awake Mercury retrograde, and it can be total fun. So if you'd like to check in where Mercury retro is active for you in your chart and get some pointers, come and just get in touch if I already have your chart, and I'll let you know. Or if you'd like to come for a little session, I also today put out the flash focus sessions that start on the 22nd of March until 4/4, April 4th. So to kick off the Mercury retro, and all these flash focus sessions, focusing on a certain area of life, a theme that comes up for you now. Doesn't have to be Mercury retrograde. They are 44 minutes long and only $44. So yeah, which reminds me also of the Mercury retro. Sometimes things pop up that are really good opportunities, and they are whoosh, gone. after Mercury retro or during Mercury retro. So sometimes when intuition calls you, it could be really a good time to act. So it's not like put everything on hold, freeze everything, do nothing. It's really action, intuitive energy, and being flexible, being like Quicksilver. So I leave it with that, and you can always read up more in my blog or get in touch with me. And we have a little astro session for Mercury retro for you. And I wish you well for the onset of the stormy stationary U-turn Mercury retrograde. And I see you around. All the best and cosmic blessings. Bye.